In today's video, we'll look at a disturbing murder with a surprising suspect, a mass murder that rocked a small town, and a relationship that went horribly wrong. But before that, we want to bring you a word from our amazing sponsor, Magellan TV. If you haven't already checked out Magellan TV, you should. They are an excellent streaming service that specializes in documentaries. They have an outstanding collection of crime and mystery documentaries. One series that I really enjoyed was Murder on the Internet, which is an unsettling examination of online dating. Another documentary that I really enjoyed and was slightly different than most crime and mystery documentaries is The Real Sherlock Holmes. This documentary looks at how the fictional character, Sherlock Holmes, has impacted real life. These are just two of the great documentaries you can watch on Magellan TV. And of course, there's so much more to Magellan TV. It was created by filmmakers, and they have amassed thousands of documentary movies, series, and playlists in great genres like nature, ancient history, and current history. Magellan TV is a great way to learn more and get insight into topics that you're already passionate about. The documentaries are ad-free, and many of them are available in 4K. Magellan TV is also easy to access. You can watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Google Play, and iOS, or simply cast from your phone to your TV. If you want to check out Magellan TV for yourself, and I highly recommend you do, just go to magellantv.com/criminallylisted and you'll get a month free. Please check out Magellan TV because you'll get access to thousands of great documentaries and you'll be supporting Criminally Listed. Number 3. Lisa Flormoe. In 1986, Lisa Flormoe was living in Eugene, Oregon, and she was working as a buyer at a department store. She met Brian Eaker, who was a sales manager for a chemical company. They started dating, and eventually they moved in together. In December 1990, they got engaged. 8 months later, in August 1991, Flormoe, who was 22 years old, was visiting some family friends in Wilsonville, Oregon. Her friends lived in an affluent neighborhood in Wilsonville. On the afternoon of August 13, 1991, Flormoe was in their home alone. She was talking on the phone with her fiancé, Brian Eaker. As they were chatting, the doorbell rang. Flormoe told Eaker to hold on a moment, and she went to the door. She came back to the phone and said it was some teenage boy. He was looking for a teenage girl who lived in the house, but she wasn't home. Flormoe and Eaker continued to talk on the phone, and the doorbell rang again. Flormoe went back to the door, and then she came back to the phone. She told Eaker it was the same teenage boy. Eaker and Flormoe continued to talk, and then the doorbell rang for the third time. Flormoe went to answer the door, and then Eaker heard something that he would never forget. Flormoe started screaming, and then she started crying. She pleaded, "Please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me." Eaker hung up and called the police. Eaker then got into his car and drove the 90 miles from Eugene to Wilsonville. When Eaker got there, he saw that the house where his fiancée had been staying had been roped off with crime scene tape, and there were police officers all over the property. What Eaker heard over the phone was the beginning of Lisa Flormoe's murder. The medical examiner suspected that the killer attempted to sexually assault Flormoe, but for whatever reason, did not go through with it. Instead, he stabbed her 15 times in the neck with a small, dull blade. The police did not find anything stolen from the home. Eaker talked to the police and he told them that a teenage boy had come to the door twice while he was talking on the phone with Flormoe. He told the police that he heard the doorbell ring for a third time, and then he heard Flormoe begging for her life. Eager said he did not know if the same boy came to the door a third time. 5 days after the murder, the police received a tip that a teenage boy who lived in the neighborhood had recently suffered a stab wound himself. His name was Todd Davila. He was a 16-year-old honor student and Boy Scout. The police arrested Davila and searched his bedroom. They found a Boy Scout knife that they thought was the murder weapon. In custody, Davila confessed to the murder. He said he went to sexually assault Flormoe, but he ended up stabbing her to death when she resisted. Davila said that after he brutally murdered the 22-year-old woman, he went to the county fair with his friends. In March 1992, Todd Davila pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison. But this was just the start of Davila's legal proceedings. He managed to have his sentence overturned 6 times, and he has been sentenced 6 times. He has been sentenced to life in prison, 116 years in prison, 57 years in prison, and as recently as 2017, he was sentenced to 50 years in prison, and he is currently serving that sentence. Davila has been a model inmate. He has been enrolled in many different types of treatment programs, and he got an associate degree in graphic design. The judge who most recently sentenced Davila and Flormoe's family says that Davila has never shown remorse for what he's done. Flormoe's family wants him to stay in prison for as long as possible. They're worried that, no matter how old he is, he may kill someone else if he is ever released. Number 2. Keith Young. Keith Young and Samantha Tolley met in the late 1980s and they started dating. They lived in the small town of Winsford, Cheshire, England. They had to keep their relationship quiet for several reasons. One reason they had to keep their relationship a secret was because Keith was already in a relationship. He was living with his girlfriend and they had a daughter together. They also couldn't tell anyone about their relationship because Keith was 24 and Samantha was 14. Their relationship became public in 1995 when Samantha became pregnant. Keith broke up with his girlfriend and Samantha moved into the home that he had shared with his girlfriend. Samantha gave birth to a son named Joshua. This was followed by another son named Thomas in October 1996. The next year, they welcomed a third son, Callum. Then finally, 2 years later, Samantha gave birth to a fourth son, whom they named Daniel. In June 2001, Samantha and Keith got married. Many people thought that Samantha and Keith were happy and that they and the boys were a lovely family. Keith worked as a farm laborer and he liked to take his boys out on the tractor when he drove around in the fields. Samantha and Keith also attended all the boys' school functions and sporting events. But Samantha and Keith's relationship was marred with violence. Things first started to go wrong in 1995 after Samantha moved in with Keith. Sometimes Keith would stay out all night and then he'd refuse to tell Samantha where he was. In the weeks after Joshua was born, Keith started to settle down a bit. But then, in December 1995, several months after Joshua's birth, Keith beat up Samantha for the first time. This was the start of a pattern. Anytime that Keith became jealous, he would get physically violent with Samantha. One night, Samantha and Keith went out to a local pub. When they came home, they found a woman there waiting for them. The woman claimed she was pregnant with Keith's baby. This led to an argument between Keith and Samantha, and Keith ended up breaking her wrist. Despite the violence in their relationship, they did get married in June 2001. Their marriage lasted for about a year and a half. Then in January 2003, Samantha decided to leave Keith, and she took the boys with her. Keith was officially allowed to see his sons on Wednesdays and every other weekend. But Samantha thought that Keith was so good with the boys that she allowed him to see them anytime he wanted. Not long after Samantha left Keith, she started seeing another man. In March 2003, Samantha told Keith that she was 5 weeks pregnant with her boyfriend's child. At first, Keith seemed to take it well. But then, days later, it was apparent that he wasn't happy with the news at all. He called Samantha and told her to terminate the pregnancy. Samantha refused. Around this time, Keith told his friends and family that he was thinking of killing himself and taking his sons with him. But no one believed him because they saw how he was with his sons and they knew he loved them. Then, on March 25, 2003, Keith told Samantha something alarming. He said he loved her more than their boys. He claimed if they could not be together, he did not want the kids. Like Keith's friends and family, Samantha did not take him too seriously. 2 days after that phone call, on March 27, 2003, the boys were with Keith. He was supposed to drop them off at Samantha's home, but he never did. At 12:20 a.m. on March 28th, Samantha called Keith's cell phone. Keith answered, and he immediately told Samantha to save her breath. He said he was with the boys, and he was going to kill them and himself. He was in his Mitsubishi Shogun, and he had a gas-powered lawnmower running in the back. He was going to kill them all by poisoning them with carbon monoxide. Keith then told Samantha, "I hope you're happy. I hope you have a grudge against that baby for the rest of your life." Keith then asked Samantha if she could hear the lawnmower, and she said yes. He then asked her if she could hear their children, and once again, she said yes. She could hear them crying and coughing. Keith then hung up the phone. Samantha immediately called the police. The police launched a massive search and tried to trace Keith's cell phone. But nearly an hour later, they had not found Keith's vehicle. At 1:17 a.m., Keith called Samantha. She promised Keith she would terminate her pregnancy and she would try to work things out with him. Keith said it was too late. Their 3-year-old son, Daniel, was already dead. Samantha then asked to talk to one of her sons. Keith then handed the phone to Joshua and told him, "Say goodbye to your mom. Tell her you love her." Joshua did what his father told him to do. Samantha asked Joshua where he was, and he said he didn't know. He said it was too dark and smoky. Keith then took the phone back. He continued to talk to Samantha. Then he told her another one of their sons had died. Minutes later, he told her that another one of their sons had passed away. Keith started to breathe heavy, and then all of a sudden, he stopped breathing. The only thing Samantha could hear was the lawnmower. For 20 minutes, Samantha screamed into the phone, hoping that someone would wake up. But sadly, it was all in vain. The next thing Samantha heard was a window breaking. The police had found Keith's vehicle. It was parked at a rest stop about 40 miles from their home. 38-year-old Keith Young and his sons, 7-year-old Joshua, 6-year-old Thomas, 5-year-old Callum, and 3-year-old Daniel, were rushed to the hospital. Tragically, they were all pronounced dead on arrival. Samantha, who was 28 years old, was given the horrifying task of identifying the bodies. Years later, she said that any time she closed her eyes, she saw the bodies of her 4 sons. Samantha also miscarried. In May 2005, 2 years after she lost her 4 sons, Samantha gave birth to a son whom she named Morgan. She said that Morgan would never replace the children that she lost, but it made her realize that she can love again. Number 1. Beatrice and Torres Silva. Beatrice and Torres Silva lived in Longmont, Colorado. For 4 years, she dated Daniel Sanchez, who also went by the name Pablo. In the fall of 2012, Beatrice was 25 and Sanchez was 31 years old. They broke up at Thanksgiving that year. After the breakup, Beatrice moved in with her sister, 22-year-old Maria Santora Silva, and her husband, 32-year-old Max Aguera O'Hara. Max and Maria had recently gotten married. It wasn't long after Beatrice and Sanchez broke up that Beatrice started dating another man. On December 16, 2012, Beatrice agreed to meet with Sanchez in the parking lot of a Best Buy. Beatrice had lent Sanchez $1,000 to get his truck fixed, and they were supposed to discuss a repayment plan. While they were sitting in Sanchez's truck, Beatrice got a text message from the man she was dating. Sanchez saw the text message and he recognized the name. Beatrice had hung out with him while she was still with Sanchez. Beatrice had told Sanchez that he was just a friend. When Sanchez saw the text message, he became enraged and he snatched Beatrice's phone out of her hands. He then sent a threatening text message to Beatrice's new boyfriend. Beatrice tried to get out of the truck, but Sanchez yanked her back in. He then drove off. While he drove, he berated and threatened Beatrice. He drove her out to an unpaved road just outside of the city. Once he stopped, Beatrice tried to get out of the truck again, and this time, Sanchez slammed her head into the dashboard. After that, Sanchez drove back to the Best Buy parking lot. Once there, he let Beatrice go. Beatrice called the police. Not long after she called, Sanchez was arrested and charged with false imprisonment, kidnapping, and harassment. Sanchez stayed in jail overnight and most of the next day. Then he posted $10,000 bail and he was released at 10 p.m. Before he was released, the police talked to Beatrice and they told her not to stay with her sister and brother-in-law. They pointed out that not only did Sanchez know she would be there, but he also lived in the same neighborhood. The police also offered Beatrice protection, but Beatrice did not accept the offer of protection or heed their advice. At around 4 a.m. on December 18, 2012, about 6 hours after Sanchez was released from jail, the following call came into 911.
911, what's the address of the emergency? 11464.
I need you to say the address. I can't understand you.
11464 Hot Springs.
Okay, repeat the address one more time to make sure I have it right.
No.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, this
Hello?
is 911. What's going on?
I just shot everybody right now.
You just shot everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your name?
Daniel Sanchez?
Pablo Sanchez?
Yeah.
Okay, how many people did you shoot?
3.
You shot who people? Who did you shoot?
My ex-girlfriend, because she was cheating on me with Roy.
Okay.
And myself, I'm going to shoot myself right now.
Pablo, I need you to stay on the phone with me, okay? Just wait until we get there. Pablo?
Yeah.
Okay, just stay with me, okay? Don't shoot yourself.
Okay.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
Like 6 months ago, I caught my girlfriend cheating on me.
Uh-huh.
And I told Roy to stop talking to her.
Okay.
And he wouldn't do it. He pressed charges on me kidnapping. I'm not on bond right now. But
Okay.
I want to sue himself.
She pressed charges on you for kidnapping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for my girlfriend. She was didn't know what she was doing.
Okay, who else was there?
What do you mean?
Who else was there with you tonight?
Right
The
now?
other 2 people, do you know who they were?
Her sister and her husband.
Okay. 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 How did you get there?
Driving?
You drove there?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you there by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what room are you in right now? Pablo? Pablo? Hello? I think he just shot himself.
The police arrived on scene not long after the call. They discovered that the window of the back door of the home had been shot out, and that is how Sanchez got into the home. Armed with a .45 caliber Glock, he first went to the bedroom of Beatrice's sister, 22-year-old Maria Santora Silva, and her brother-in-law, 32-year-old Max Aguera O'Hara. Sanchez shot them both to death. 25-year-old Beatrice heard the shooting, and she was the one who called 911. As she was on the phone with the 911 dispatcher, Sanchez entered her bedroom and shot her to death as well. Then after talking to the 911 dispatcher, Sanchez, who was 31, took his own life. The triple homicide and suicide shocked the community. One neighbor said, "Why can't people work out things without killing each other? It's crazy." Thank you so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you found it interesting. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos just like it. Also, please check out criminalist.com where you can suggest cases, buy merch, and find out about an exclusive podcast. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/criminally listed. But that is all for today. Thanks again for watching.